I'm Tobi Ogundiran. I'm a writer of speculative fiction. Um, I'm currently in Mississippi, getting my MFA in creative writing in fiction. My journey as a writer, well, I guess if my parents are to be believed, I've been writing since I could hold a pen. I've always loved stories. I would read books, lots of books as a child, listen to my parents, my grandparents tell all sort of stories, really, really intriguing stories. They were usually animal stories. That's what all kids loved. And eventually, I would graduate to reading novels without pictures, so no more picture books. And I found myself really fascinated by the stories I was reading there. I found myself, and I guess if you do something long enough, you start to feel you can actually produce the material. So after reading lots and lots of books, I felt I could also write a book. So, in high school, actually, at the height of the Harry Potter craze, I wrote a thinly veiled pastiche of Harry Potter, and I would have my friends, they would take turns, so they'll get in line, trying to read the book. So I'll write a chapter, and I'll give it out to my friends, and they'll read the book. And I felt myself like a local superstar. I felt I could really, really. There was a future in this. I thought that was the best thing in the world, actually. So when I actually wrote my own original novel, I expected the path to publication to be smooth sailing, but of course I was in for a rude awakening. I got countless rejections, which really, really humbled me, as you can imagine. But failure is just the opportunity to try again, try harder, and I was pretty determined to be a writer, to be a published author. So I kept at it, again and again and again over the years, facing countless rejections until I finally, eventually broke through. My dad is a doctor. I grew up around medicine, so I guess it was only natural that the path I chose was going to be medicine. I always wanted to be a doctor, but at the same time, I had this passion, this writing, and it's not something I was willing to also give up. So I guess I found a way to sort of juggle both. Okay, so my debut, actually, it's a debut collection of stories. It's titled Jackal Jackal, subtitled Tales of the Dark and Fantastic. It contains all the stories that have made my career so far, including a few new ones. It's been called, like, it's contained fables and dark fantasy, just basically speculative fiction stories, which I love. And it's going to be out in July of this year. Okay, so one of the stories in the book is titled The Lady of the Yellow Painted Library. So this we've all experienced. When we go to a library, you borrow a book and then you lose the book, or you forget to turn it in before the due date. So here we have a traveling salesman who attempts to sell a rotary phone to a librarian, and the librarian seizes the opportunity to give a book to him. But of course, he wasn't really interested in reading the book. Eventually, he gets a note that the book is overdue. He should turn it in, and he loses the book. He tries to pay a fine because he can't find the book, but the librarian is not interested in the fine. She wants that particular book. So angry, frustrated, he leaves town, escapes town, leaves the city. But somehow she is able to find him. He goes to another state. Upon entering the motel, he finds a note from the librarian waiting for him, silently threatening him to return back to the city he's left with the book, or he's going to be punished. He flees again. He gets on a train, and in his compartment, he finds yet another note from the librarian, threatening him to return. That the book is several days overdue, and he's going to be severely punished if he doesn't return. Eventually, he starts to get the idea that this isn't an ordinary librarian. This is a supernatural, if you will, librarian. And what happens is a whole cascade of events that culminates in something totally unexpected for the poor salesman. It's one of my best stories, I think, in my opinion. I'm really proud of it, and I hope you get a chance to read it.